It feels like every year, somewhere in sports, you get reminded how aggressively the preseason doesn't matter uh, when it comes to whatever sport we're talking about. Because if I remember correctly, I believe the Cavs went winless in the preseason. They were 0-4, and then they start the season out 15-0. Now they're 17-1. The Cavs have the opportunity right now to do something crazy, which is finish the first part of the season before the in-season tournament on December 10th with 50% of their wins from last year. And I'm going to be honest with you. I love that the Cavs are winning this much, but I am running out of adjectives to describe how good this Cavs team are and how well they're playing and how much they're winning by every single time that they play. But hey, that's one of them good problems to have. The Cavs beat the Toronto Raptors, who played, I would say the score doesn't indicate how well of a game Toronto was playing at times. Um, 108 to 122. Toronto really gave you a good fight in the third quarter, came within 3 points of bringing this game back in, but then the Cavs would never surrendered the lead and were able to stretch this thing out back to a blowout at the end of it here. The standout players in this game, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, and Ty Jerome. And it's not a fun thing anymore. It's a real thing with Ty Jerome. He's actually just like this. He's a critical part of this Cavs team. He helped pull the Cavs away in the third quarter. My man had 4 steals and 6 rebounds. Well, no, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. My bad. But and a block. Like he got 5 statted numbers there. So Ty Jerome, 28 minutes, 26 points. Hey, we gotta start figuring out sooner or later. Like, is he just hot and playing this good and he's gonna simmer down to something? Or like, is he actually this good? And if Ty Jerome is actually this good, what does that do for our lineups for the rest of the year? I mean, we're already playing him a starter's amount of minutes, right? 28 minutes. That's starters minutes because you look at your starters, Evan Mobley, 33, Isaac Okoro, 29. And I thought Isaac played a strong game in this one too. Jared Allen, 32 minutes. Darius Garland, 31. And then Donovan Mitchell, the big dog, at 35 minutes. But we really gotta have a conversation about like where George Niang fits into the not George Niang, my bad. Ty Jerome fits into the rotation as this Cavs season continues, as you get guys healthy, when Dean Wade's back, when Max Strus is back, when you have your full rotation of guys, Karis LeVert. Like what does Ty Jerome's role become? Because he's not just been good in this role, he's been exactly what you wanted from this role. And I think that's got to be considered because we knew Ty Jerome was playing well pretty much all year, but 26 points. I mean, he's gotten 20 plus points like 4 times this season for the Cavs. 2 of them as a starter, 2 of them off the bench. We really got to talk about like, hey, is this who he is if you give him extended minutes? Like, did we just like luck in to a big find here with Ty Jerome? And if that's the case, when do we start talking about extension again? So that's got to be a real conversation that needs to be had there. George Niang was awful in this one. I've been giving him some praise. He was 1 for 13 and 0 for 8 from 3, and he was not particularly good on defense. So, George, he had his get back to average game, right? Like, the regression to the mean. When somebody is shooting a little bit more than what their career splits say they should, they're going to have a regression to mean game. And my man had a regression to mean game here. I thought Darius played well. There was a bit of a scare with his ankle early in this game. He played through it. Didn't seem to affect him. He had 16 and 6 in this one. 2 turnovers, so he didn't turn the ball over that much. Evan Mobley, I thought he was up and down in this game. There were times where Evan was like starting to really assert himself. There were times where Evan kind of went away from the game plan. He had 14, 11, 8 defensive rebounds and 4 assists. Yeah, I wanted Evan to come out with the same energy he did in that first quarter for all 3 quarters. He really only came out for that like in the first and the fourth, but he really didn't have that same energy the whole game. And by the way, like, am I the only one that feels this? But like, is Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro, they really don't like Scotty Barnes at all. Like I realized that watching this game. And by the way, Scotty Barnes' numbers might look decent in this game. Well, he had 18 and 7 and 7, but my man Scotty Barnes was awful in this game for most of this game. Like I think he really put up most of those numbers in the third quarter. But Scotty was really bad. And then like I called him the Greg Newsome. If you are a Browns fan, you know what I mean by that. But he was the Greg Newsome of the Raptors because an unbelievable sequence in this game. The Cavs are, well, Scotty Barnes up until this point when this moment happens, he was 0 for 5 from 3. He makes his first 3 of the game, and he's mean mugging Isaac Okoro, like staring him dead in the face, almost like risking getting a penalty. Well, not a penalty, but a foul called on him or a tech called on him. He's doing all of this. Keep in mind, this is his first 3 of the night that he's made. He's making this 3 in the fourth quarter when his team's like down 18 points. And I was like, yeah, that's Greg Newsome behavior. Like the absolute unawareness to like where your celebration could be. Because it's one thing if you celebrate and your coaches tell you to celebrate and juice and all that stuff. Like that's one thing. But like you don't got to go all the way with the celebration when you down 15. Scotty Barnes was out here mean mugging people multiple times after making like a couple of shots late in this game where he clearly did not do enough to help the Raptors win. So all-time weird behavior from Mr. Scotty Barnes in this game. Ty Jerome really carried the bench scoring in this game for the Cavs. George Niang was awful. Sam Merrill was not great. 1 for 6 in this game. Craig Porter, I don't think he played good minutes in this one. And Jalen Tyson got like 7 minutes in this game. He really didn't get to do much here either. Didn't score anything. So good thing you have Ty Jerome because that was literally all of your bench scoring for tonight was Ty Jerome. And then Donovan Mitchell continues to just be a superstar. I'm going to have to do a video later this week asking the question, is Donovan Mitchell the best trade a Cleveland team has ever made? Like, I know the only argument you can make are a couple of baseball trades, right? I had people bring up the Cliff Lee, Grady Sizemore trade, and there were some other trades that were baseball that were thrown in there. But, man, like getting a bona fide, legit superstar in basketball, it's just different than trading for somebody who won the Cy Young and an All-Star, right? Like it's so much more meaningful long term because superstars just last a little bit longer when it comes to like their peak years in basketball for whatever reason than what I've exhibited in baseball. So yeah, I'm on the edge of thinking this is like one of the best trades a Cleveland team has ever made. Donovan Mitchell was fantastic in this one, especially in the fourth quarter. Really took over the game. 26 points, 10 of 18 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. I mean, and the one thing about Donovan Mitchell I don't think he gets enough credit for is I truly do believe that Donovan Mitchell has to be like legit, pound for pound, one of the strongest dudes in the NBA, if not like the strongest player in the NBA under 6'6". Now, he might not be the strongest guy because there might be somebody 6'5" that's stronger than him, but pound for pound, like for him to be 6'1" and have this strength to lean on against bigs is insane, man. Like he is a different beast. And then he's such a great shooter, 5 of 9 from 3, such a crafty bucket getter in the paint. Just so much there to offer you with Donovan Mitchell. And it opens up for guys like Jared Allen to get 20 and 13. And Jared was hooping today. Defensively, offensively, look, Evan was definitely there defensively. Offensively, he was in and out. But defensively, you never worry about Evan. But Jared Allen, like, he was lights out defensively as well. The Cavs were just locked down in the paint. And that's where this Cavs team, again, we talk about that flexibility of what they offer and why that's important. It gives them a lot of ways to win because your bench didn't give you a cavalanche today. You weren't overwhelming from three. You were just pretty good from three, 39%. Usually you're at 42, 43%. So you didn't hit your numbers 3-point wise, but where you got a lot of your buckets done were in the paint. And I appreciate that about this Cavs team, that they can get it done multiple ways. I mean, that's the exact same thing that they did against Boston, right? Those threes were not dropping against Boston to save their life. Boston was dropping every single three that they could possibly make, and the Cavs got it back in the paint. They got 64 points in the paint, were plus 22 in points in the paint versus the Raptors. Just out physicaled them, right? And the Cavs' ability to be able to do that, right? Out physical teams on top of being able to win at the perimeter, on top of being able to win with shooting, it just gives them a lot of different ways to win if one of those pathways aren't working one night for whatever reason. So I think that's one of the big reasons why I think this Cavs team is truly different than some in years past, because like some teams, they get to a hot record, but it feels like they're really just exploiting one way to win to the maximum. And then when you get in a final, well, not a final series, but when you get in a playoff series, you can't just exploit that one way to win. Teams going to make you win a different way, and shit starts to change for those teams. The thing about the Cavs is if you go into them and say, hey, we're not going to let them get going from downtown, right? We're going to shut all that down. The Cavs have an answer for that. If you go into a game thinking, hey, we're not going to let them get points in the paint, the Cavs have an answer for that. They can shoot on the perimeter, right? If you're going to go into a game saying, hey, we're going to shut down their guards, right? We're not going to let Donovan get going. We're not going to let Jared get going. I mean, not Jared. We're not going to let Darius get going. We're going to make them run this offense through their bigs. Well, that's fine. That's something they feel like they can do. It's that versatility that makes you series proof, right? When we look at a team that might be for real in the playoffs. And that's what I hope can be true for this Cavs team. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.